Howdy, y'all. I wanted to go over some Security Plus questions with y'all today. My colleague, my associate, my friend, my buddy, is working on a website and is continually updating it. And 6 days ago, he coded a new section for his Security Plus questions. And it's a little over 100 questions, and he's trying to get it to 500. So I'm going to take the little over 100 question challenge today with y'all to see how many I get right, how he did in creating them. I'm sure he did a great job. Flipping over to his website. Nope. Looks like this. He's got an About Me section, security blog, a training course for Security Plus that is still being worked on. I'm going to go over it in a later video. Firewall practice, document templates, but today we're just focusing on the Security Plus questions. Score 0%. I haven't started this, so let's go through them together. See how fun that can be, guys. Let's see. When implementing a new security measure, what should be reviewed to ensure it doesn't distribute other systems? Implementing a new security measure, what should be reviewed to ensure it doesn't disrupt other systems? Dependencies? Yeah. Correct. Dependencies should be reviewed to ensure the new security measure doesn't disrupt other systems that rely on the current configuration. All right, good start. 100%. Let's go. Which type of malware is specifically designed to replicate and spread without user interaction? Replicate and spread without user interaction is going to be a virus, right? No, a worm. A worm is a type of malware that can replicate itself without any user interaction. Think a virus needs user interaction, then needs more study. Which of the following is a characteristic of a buffer overflow attack? A buffer overflow attack exploits the memory management of a system. Correct. A buffer overflow attack exploits the memory management of a system by writing more data than a buffer can hold, leading to system crashes or arbitrary code execution. Security policy mandates that unused network ports and protocols be disabled to reduce the attack surface. What mitigation technique does this represent? Disabling ports and protocols. It says it right there. Disabled unused ports and protocols. Correct. Disabling unused ports and protocols helps reduce the attack surface by limiting potential entry points for attackers. Okay, all right. What does compliance refer to in the context of cybersecurity? Compliance usually refers to legal requirements. Correct. And cybersecurity compliance refers to adhering to legal and regulatory requirements to ensure security and privacy. During an audit, it was discovered that sensitive company data was leaked by an employee with access to the information. What type of threat actor does this scenario involve? An employee with access to information is going to be an insider threat. Correct. An insider threat involves employees or individuals within an organization who intentionally or unintentionally compromise security. So I'm seeing how he's writing it, and I love it because what I usually do on multiple choice questions is look for keywords in the question, and sort of eliminate the answers that have nothing to do with that, and sort of narrow down my selection according to the keywords of the question. So these are written pretty good so far. Which of the following is a benefit of using role-based access control? Role base. So it doesn't have to do with the password complexity or encryption or network monitoring. It's Management of user permissions is access control user permissions. Correct. RBAC simplifies the management of user permissions by assigning access based on roles rather than individual users. After applying a new security patch, what might be necessary to ensure that changes take effect? New security patch necessary to ensure that changes to take effect. Restart the services. Solid restart, correct. Service restart might be necessary to ensure the changes from the new security patch take effect. So far, so good. That one is just messing me up. I'm just gonna delete this whole video and start over. What is the function of a microwave sensors in physical security? Function of microwave sensors in physical security. To detect motion using microwave pulses. It doesn't have to do with network traffic or encrypting data or authenticating users. It's detecting motion. Microwave sensors detect motion using microwave pulses and are used in physical security to identify unauthorized movement. How am I doing, guys? How does threat scope reduction benefit an organization in zero trust? It doesn't have to do with MFA or encrypting data, maybe firewall or attack surface. But scope reduction benefit would be the attack surface, because scope is looking at the surface. Threat scope reduction and zero trust benefits an organization by limiting the attack surface and minimizing the potential impact of security threats. What type of attack exploits the trust relationship between a user's browser and a website? User's browser and a website. So it's not phishing because it doesn't have to do with a browser. Or maybe denial service, or maybe cross-site request forgery. Yeah, because request forgery would have to do with a browser. Yes. CSRF exploits the trust relationship between a user's browser and a website, causing the user to perform unintended actions. What is a honeypot in security? Honeypot would be honeynet, sorry. What is a honeynet? And a honeynet sounds like honeypot, designed to lure attacks. Yep. A honeynet is a network of honeypots designed to lure attackers and study their activities across multiple systems. Now, if this stuff seems sort of common sense to you, then I hope it demystifies the cybersecurity world a little bit. A lot of this stuff is sort of common sense of like coming from a protecting sort of mindset and a limiting sort of mindset. Organization needs to ensure this would be great to have numbers, Sir Christopher. I need to know what number I'm on. I know I did a lot so far. Just throwing out helpful tips. An organization needs to ensure the only authorized devices can connect to the network. Which of the following solutions should be implemented? So, only authorized devices is going to be network access control. It's not software because it's devices. An IDS, maybe. It wouldn't be backups either because that's storage. Yes. NAC ensures that only authorized devices can connect to the network by enforcing policies on devices. Yes. To prevent unauthorized use of USB ports on company computers, what policies should be implemented? To prevent unauthorized use of USB ports on company. So that would be compensating controls. Or restricted activities. I mean, I already missed one, so to prevent unauthorized use of USB ports on a company computer. I thought that would be like, not port security, but something like that. Incorrect. So was it restricted activities? Tell me the correct answer, Christopher. This is yes. I know. Especially if I want to do retakes, that would be nice. Cause I don't know if I can retake this yet. Work in progress. Doing a great job, Christopher. Doing a great job. Next question. During a security review, it is discovered that attackers are replaying captured authentication credits to gain unauthorized action. What type of attack is this? Replaying credentials. Credential replay. Correct. Credential replay attacks involves capturing and reusing authentication credentials to gain unauthorized access. A company executive receives an urgent message on their instant messaging platform asking them to transfer funds to a specified account. What type of threat vector is this? So since it was an instant messaging, it's going to be type of threat vector is this? It wasn't video call or removable device, or it's got to be, come on, buddy. Instant messaging phishing. I thought it was smishing, but I guess there's one more. IM phishing is a method where attackers use chat platforms to deceive users into taking harmful actions. Today I learned that there was another term. Security team regularly updates systems with the latest security fixes to protect against vulnerabilities. What is this practice called? A security team updates to protect against vulnerabilities. Patching. Correct. Patching involves applying updates to systems to fix security vulnerabilities and improve overall security. A company's IT department discovers that several unauthorized applications have been installed on the network by employees, potentially exposing the company to security risks. What type of threat actor does this represent? Unauthorized applications have been installed. Shadow IT. Correct. Shadow IT refers to unauthorized IT systems and solutions deployed by employees without organizational approval, posing security risks. Next. During a security assessment, a vulnerability was found that could allow an attacker to execute arbitrary code with elevated privileges. Likely, what type of vulnerability is this? Execute arbitrary code with elevated privileges. I forget what RCE is. I want to say it's critical. Incorrect. The remote controlled. Yeah. Okay. So that is the correct answer. Remote controlled execution vulnerability can allow attacker to execute arbitrary code with elevated privileges. Know your acronyms, people. The IT world is full of acronyms. RCE. What is the primary use of infrared sensors in physical security? Infrared sensors would be to detect heat signatures. Correct. Infrared sensors are used in physical security to detect heat signatures and movement, enhancing surveillance and intrusion detection. An employee receives a PDF file from an unknown sender that, when opened, executes a malicious script. What type of threat vector is this? That's a file-based, because file. Correct. File-based threats involve the use of documents or files such as PDFs that contain embedded malicious code to exploit vulnerabilities. Next. A seemingly legitimate software downloaded from the internet installs additional unwanted programs on your system. What type of malware attack does this? I thought it would be Trojan horse, but maybe bloatware. Correct. Bloatware refers to unwanted software that is included with a download or installation of another program. Cool. What is the purpose of Security Operations Center? To develop security policies, monitor and respond to incidents, to conduct security audits, to manage user access control. I'm guessing it's to monitor and respond. Or that. One of these two. This is a good one. Yay. A SOC monitors and responds to security incidents, providing real-time analysis and management of security questions or security alerts. Which of the following describes the principle of least privilege? Users are given the minimal level of access necessary. So, principle of least privilege. So, nothing more than you need. The principle of least privilege states that users should be given the minimum level of access necessary to perform their job functions. Which method is commonly used for authenticating people in cybersecurity? Authenticating people in cybersecurity. Biometrics is going to be, yep. Biometrics such as a fingerprint or retina scans are commonly used methods for authenticating people. Should be people. Like, biometrics are used for more than just cybersecurity people, but I see your point. I get it. An attacker has been able to compromise a system and gain access to sensitive data. Which of the following measures would help prevent this in the future? MFA is always a good thing to do. Incorrect. Encryption helps protect sensitive data. True. My score hasn't changed from 85. I'm noticing. I don't know how many questions I'm in deep, but it stopped at 85%. Which of the following is not a type of cryptographic algorithm? Is not an algorithm. So A is algorithm. This is also an algorithm. Plain text is not an algorithm. Correct. Not a type of algorithm. It refers to unencrypted data. An organization of implementing role-based access control. What is the primary purpose of RBAC? I think we answered a question about RBAC earlier. What is the primary purpose of RBAC? To restrict access based on roles. Yep. What is the type of encryption uses what? Which type of encryption uses the same key for both encryption and decryption? Same key would be symmetric. It's the same. Asymmetric is two keys. Uses the same key for both. What are the three main components of the CIA triad in cybersecurity? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. That's going to be like, you got to, if cybersecurity had like 3 switches, those would be the 3 switches to make 100%. You can't have all of them up at 100%. You got to like balance. Correct. An employee threatens to expose confidential company information. Hey, look, it changed from 85 to 87. Okay. I take back what I said earlier. An employee threatens to expose confidential company information unless they receive a substantial sum of money. What type of motivation does this scenario describe? Blackmail. Blackmail involves threatening to release sensitive information or take harmful action unless demands are met, often involving financial gain. What does adaptive identity and zero trust refer to? Adaptive identity. Static user. Adaptive identity. So it's not going to be static because static isn't adaptive. So nope. Maybe a dynamic because that is adaptive. Not encryption. Maybe this one. Correct. Dynamic users. Adaptive identity in zero trust refers to dynamic user identities that are determined based on the context of access requests. Ooh, let me drink some coffee and water, actually. Data integrity. So that's always going to be hashing. Integrity is hash. Hashing is used to ensure data integrity by producing a unique hash value for the data, which can be used to verify that the data has not been altered. How many questions has this been, Chris? Where is the number? A web server is configured to listen on several unnecessary ports, increasing the attack surface. What type of threat vector is this? Listening on unnecessary ports. Open service ports. Correct. What is the primary goal of using MFA? It's not encryption, it's not hashing, and it's not a passive complexity. So multiple layers. Correct. MFA provides multiple layers of security by requiring 2 or more different authentication factors. A financial institution is using physical isolation to secure its most sensitive data. Which concept does this practice exemplify? Physical isolation, keyword, air-gapped. Correct. An air-gapped network is physically isolated from unsecured networks, ensuring that it cannot be accessed or compromised remotely. An international cybercrime ring is caught running a ransomware campaign targeting businesses worldwide to extort money. What type of threat actor is this? An international cybercrime ring would be a nation state. Incorrect. Organized crime groups often engaged. Oh. I have a lot to learn, Sensei. A company wants to ensure that sensitive data stored on mobile devices is protected. Which of the following should be implemented? Sensitive data stored on mobile devices is protected. So that's going to be encrypted, right? Yes. You want full disk encryption because it protects sensitive data stored on mobile devices by encrypting the entire disk. Which of the following best describes the principle of least privilege? Didn't we already answer this one, guys? Least privilege given the minimum. Correct. Common use. Which of the following is a common technique used in phishing attacks? Phishing attacks is fake emails. Correct. Phishing attacks commonly involve sending fake emails to trick recipients into providing sensitive information or clicking on malicious links. What should be followed to ensure consistency and efficiency during routine security audits? What should be followed to ensure consistency and efficiency during audits? Standard operating procedure? Yay, a SOAP should be followed to ensure consistency. Gotcha. An attacker exploits a vulnerability in a web app to execute unauthorized SQL commands. What type of attack is this? It's going to be an injection, right? An SQL injection. Correct. An injection attack such as an SQL injection involves inserting malicious code into a web app to manipulate the backend database. What is the core principle of zero trust security model? Trust but verify. Trust but verify. Never, always. Incorrect. Never trust, always verify. No, this one. I do not trust you. Zero trust. Never trust, always verify. Duh. What is MFA? using multiple methods to verify my identity. Correct. And to explain further, it's like, yeah, no, different methods for sure. An individual receives a call from someone claiming to be from their bank, requesting personal information or for verification. What type of threat vector is this? Voice, phishing, vishing, using phone calls. Which of the following describes the process of ensuring that data has not been altered or tampered with? That's going to be the integrity of the data. The data integrity ensures that data has not been altered. An organization wants to ensure that its data is protected from unauthorized access during transmission over the internet. So it's going to be a virtual private network. Ensures that data is protected during transmission over the internet. A company employee connects to an unsecured Wi-Fi network at a coffee shop, potentially exposing company data. What type of threat factor does this represent? Unsecured networks, because it says it right there. Unsecured network. A user receives a text message from an unknown number claiming to offer a free gift and asking them to click a link. So since it is a text message, it's going to be SMS. Correct. SMS phishing or smishing, where they send you a text. Which of the following is an example of physical security control? Not physical, not physical. Was way back in the day, but not for IT. Not physical. Bollards. Bollards, or an example of physical security used to prevent unauthorized vehicle access to sensitive areas. Coffee. Water. Security breach involves a malicious program that logs keystrokes to capture sensitive information. What type of malware attack is this? Security breach. Logs keystrokes. It's going to be keylogger. Keylogger is a type of malware that logs keystrokes. A tech startup decides to use AWS Lambda for running its code without provisioning or managing servers. Which architecture model are they using? I did not know this was in Security Plus because this is a cloud question. But it says it right here, without servers. So that's serverless. AWS Lambda is for running code without servers. Serverless. Allows developers to run code without managing server infrastructure. Which of the following is a common method used to protect data at rest? So data at rest is not in transit. It's going to be encrypted. Correct. When it encrypts the entire storage device. What is the purpose of a honey file in cybersecurity? To serve as a decoy file to attract. Yeah. Honey file, honey pot, honey net is all going to be to lure or attract attackers. An organization continues to use old operating system that is no longer supported with security updates. What type of threat vector is this? Old operating system, no longer supported. Unsupported system. Correct. Sometimes the answer, most of the time, as you can see, the answer is in the question, or at least these. This is a good way to get that practice of reading the question and looking for keywords and sort of eliminating what is not there, or what doesn't have to do, eliminating what doesn't have to do with it and sort of narrowing in on what does. Which of the following best describes a DOS attack? Denial of service. So it overwhelms the network, right? Yeah. A DOS attack disrupts services by overwhelming the network. Which of the following encryption methods uses a pair of keys for data secure? So we learned about symmetric earlier. Asymmetric is 2 keys, a pair of keys. Correct. What is a security policy? A policy. It's not that. Not that. A method for incident response. Set of guidelines. Got to be. Yep. Which of the following best describes 0-day vulnerability? That they just found out about it, but it's not yet patched. No. It's been exploited before patched. Oh, duh, right here. Didn't read all of the answers, so a lesson to you. Gotta read everything. Which encryption method uses 2 keys? We just answered that one a few questions ago. 2 keys is one public, one private. How does lighting contribute to physical security? Lighting enhances visibility. Correct. An organization wants to ensure that its web application is not vulnerable to cross-site attacks. What should they implement? Input validation? Correct. Implementing input validation helps prevent cross-site scripting attacks by ensuring that user input is properly sanitized. A corporation enhances repeated DDoS attacks on its e-commerce platform experiences, preventing customers from making purchases. The attackers did not demand ransom. What was the likely motivation? Service disruption. Correct. Service disruption aims to make a service unavailable to its intended users, often motivated by the desire to harm the operations. Which type of malware encrypts a victim's data and demands payment for the decryption key? Demands payment would be a ransom. Correct. Which type of attack involves injecting malicious code into a web app to exploit vulnerabilities? I thought we've answered this one already. Because it's injecting. Correct. What is the main purpose of a firewall? It could be to monitor, but it's definitely to block. Correct. The main purpose of a firewall is to block access to a network or system while allowing traffic to pass through. A company wants to implement a new security protocol but needs to ensure it doesn't disrupt current operations. What business process is essential before implementation? The approval process. If a new protocol is in place, it needs to be approved. Correct. What is the purpose of a gap analysis in cybersecurity? Okay, to identify the difference, right? Yes. A gap analysis identifies the difference between the current security posture and the desired state. Your organization has split its applications into several small, independently deployable services that communicate over a network. What is this architecture model called? Split the application into several small services, microservices. Correct. Small services. A network admin notices unusual traffic patterns on the network. Which tool can be used to analyze and monitor network traffic for potential security threats? A SIEM, right? Correct. A security, information, and event management system can be used to analyze and monitor network traffic for potential threats. Your company wants to improve its disaster recovery plan by ensuring that systems can recover quickly from failures. Which consideration is most relevant? Ensuring that they can recover quickly. Ease of recovery? Correct. A pharmaceutical company experienced a data breach resulting in the theft of sensitive data. Investigators believe the attack was motivated by the desire to gain a competitive advantage. What is the most likely motivation? Gain a competitive advantage. Espionage. Financial gain. What do you think, class? Espionage. Financial gain. Nope. Espionage. Of course. Espionage involves competitive advantage. During a security audit, it was found that employees are using weak passwords. What should be implemented to ensure strong password policies? Complexity policy, history policy, length policy, all of the above. All of these should ensure strong policies. Correct. To reduce vulnerabilities, a company installs a program that is no longer needed from its systems. What is this process called? Uninstall programs that is no longer needed. Removal of unnecessary software. What is the main purpose of a digital signature? Authenticity would be the signature, correct. An organization uses cryptography methods to protect sensitive data transmitted over the network. What is this technique? Cryptographic methods. Encryption. Yeah. What number is this, Chris? What number question is this? Christopher? What is the primary purpose of bollards in physical security? To prevent vehicle access. Which of the following is a key principle of zero trust security? I thought we've been through this, Chris. Implicit trust? No. It's gotta be this one. Yes. Which of the following is an example of MFA? Okay, so great. Something you know and something you know, not MFA. Something you are and something you know. Yes. Nowhere close. Nowhere close. That's both something you know and something you know. Correct. Two or more verification methods, such as a fingerprint and a password. What type of control is a firewall? It's a technical control? Right? Yeah, okay. It regulates network traffic based on rules. An attacker sends a large number of ICMP echo request packets to a target. What type of attack is this? Has to do with websites. Has to do with websites. Has to do with emails. Smurf attack. Correct. It involves sending a large number of echo requests. What is the role of sensors in physical security? Sensors monitor environmental conditions. No. Used to detect unauthorized. Hello. Another example of reading all the answers, Alex. This guy. A hacker repeatedly attempts to gain access to a secured room by guessing every possible code combination on the keypad. So every possible combination would be a brute force. Correct. What is essential to review after conducting a pilot implementation of a new security software to determine its effectiveness? What is essential to review after conducting a pilot? You need to review the test results. Correct. Yep. Which of the following best describes the concept of defense in depth? Focusing solely? No. Relying on things alone? No. Using a single? No. It's multiple layers. Gotta be. Correct. Defense in depth involves implementing multiple layers of security measures to protect against various types of threats. Which protocol is commonly used to secure web traffic? Unsecured, secured, right? TLS? Correct. TLS is commonly used to secure web traffic by encrypting the data transmitted between the client and the server. An organization wants to ensure all the sensitive data stored on its servers is encrypted. What type of control is this? It's going to be a technical control? Correct. Encrypting data is technical. What are the three components of the AAA framework in cybersecurity? It's going to be authenticating, authorizing, and accounting. Availability. I want to say it's this one because I know the CIA triad has availability, but is it accounting? It's been a while since I remember that framework. Let's go for this one. Incorrect. And accounting, of course, Alex. Before a new security measure is implemented, whose input should be considered to ensure the changes align with organizational goals? Stakeholders. Correct. Stakeholders' input should be considered. During a security review, 42 minutes. During a security review, a business determines that encrypting individual records within a database is crucial for protecting sensitive information. Which level of encryption should they implement? Individual records within a database. So that's down to the file level. No? Record level. Of course. What is an access control vestibule used for in physical security? Vestibule is I think those turning doors, right? Correct. Used to control a building by verifying the identity of individuals. A security team is evaluating various encryption algorithms for protecting data at rest. Which factor is crucial in determining the strength of encryption? Key length, right? The longer the key, the bigger the strength. Correct. During a security analysis, unusual patterns of memory and CPU usage are observed, indicating a potential compromise. What indicator of compromise does this represent? Memory and CPU usage would be resource consumption. Correct. Increased resource consumption can indicate malicious activity, such as malware using system resources for unauthorized purposes. An organization has implemented a policy that requires employees to change their passwords every 90 days. So that's going to be either operational or managerial. A policy. Managerial. Operational? Yeah. Requiring employees to change their passwords is an operational control. Which type of cryptographic algorithm uses a single key for both encryption? So I've been through that. Symmetric. Gotcha. What does an authorization model define in cybersecurity? What they are allowed to access. Correct. What is the function of the policy engine in zero trust architecture? To make access decisions based on policies. Correct. What number of question is this, Chris? Christopher. What number am I on? When scheduling a system upgrade, what should be defined to minimize disruption to business operations? A maintenance window. Correct. What is the primary function of a SIEM? CIEM system. Management system. Is to collect and analyze security event data. Yep. An organization requires a hardware-based solution to securely store cryptographic keys and perform encryption methods. It's going to be a hardware security module or a trusted platform, but I like this one. Correct. Is used to store keys and perform operations. A company plans to upgrade its firewall system. What process should be conducted to understand the potential effects on business operations? Impact analysis. Its potential effects on operations is an impact analysis. An employee receives an email claiming to be from the IT department asking for their credentials. Which of the following best describes this? So it is an email, and it's going to be phishing. That is, I don't know what e-mishing is, but it's phishing. Yeah. Email phishing is a common threat vector. Well, you get it. Which of the following is a common method used in SQL injection attacks? Injecting SQL. Correct. Which of the following describes a zero-day vulnerability? I think we answered this one before. And it was this answer. So now it's repeating questions. What type of malware disguises itself as legitimate software to trick users into installing it? That is a Trojan horse. Correct. What does the term non-repudiation refer to in cybersecurity? So they can't deny that it belongs to them. Correct. A company experiences a significant spike in traffic, causing their website to become unavailable. Distributed denial service. What is the primary goal of a pen test? To assess the posture. Correct. A company needs to ensure that a certificate can be quickly verified for its revocation status. What should they implement? Online certification status protocol, right? Or no, the revocation, so CRL, right? It's one of these two. Bam. No, it is this one. Instinct, Alex. Go with your instincts. What is the main purpose of using MFA? I think we've answered this one already. Yep. Which of the following is used to protect data at rest? Oh, we've definitely answered this one. It's encrypting it. What type of attack involves an attacker inserting malicious code into a trusted website? Cross-site scripting. Yep. During a network upgrade, a security engineer decides to divide the corporate network into smaller, isolated segments. That is what mitigation technique is being used. I'm guessing isolated segments is segmentation. Correct. During the deployment of a new security patch, unforeseen issues arise. What plan should be in place to revert changes? So that is a backup plan. Correct. An attacker has gained unauthorized access to a company database and modified several records. What type of attack is this? Data breach? Correct. What type of malware is designed to monitor users' activity and send the information to a third party? Spyware. It's spying on you. Yep. The company's security team needs to store private keys securely to ensure they can be retrieved in the event of key compromise. What mechanism should they use? Key escrow is where you put keys, right? Correct. Used to store private keys. What should be minimized during the upgrade of a critical server to ensure continuous business operations? Minimized during the upgrade. Downtime? Yeah, minimize the downtime. Correct. An IT department blocks all apps and then creates a list of apps that are permitted to run. What is this list called? Application allow list. Correct. What is the purpose of a DMZ in a network security? To separate internal and external network zones. Correct. During an audit, a security team discovers that several systems are missing critical security patches. What type of vulnerability does this represent? Missing security patches would be software. Correct. A company wants to ensure that stored passwords are protected against brute force attacks. Which method should they implement? Stored passwords are protected against brute, so you need to hash it. Salting. Of course, you salt the hash. Alex, hello. Read all the answers, please. Please, Alex. An organization's default admin creds are not changed after initial setup, leaving systems vulnerable. What type of threat vector does this represent? So not changed after initial setup is the default creds. Correct. A security team wants to improve the security of stored passwords by making it computationally expensive to crack them. Which method should they use? Hashing. No. Key stretching. Okay, alright, I see you. Advanced Persistent Threat Group is known for its substantial financial resources and state-level backing. Which attribute of actors does this describe? Internal or organized crime? Internal. Often state-level sponsors. Their extensive resource and funding. So this one right here. A third-party vendor providing essential services to a company is compromised, leading to a security breach. What type of threat vector is this? Third-party vendor providing essential services. Supply chain. Correct. What is the main purpose of a VPN? To provide secure access to a private network. Correct. Organization is moving some of its services to AWS while maintaining others on its private servers with architectural models being utilized. So that's going to be hybrid since it's both in the cloud and on their private servers. Correct. To minimize potential damage, an organization ensures users only have access to the data and resources necessary for their roles. It's going to be least privilege. Correct. What number am I on, Chris? What number am I on? Christopher, what number am I on? What is the primary characteristic of a discretionary access control? So it's going to be defined by the owner. Correct. What type of social engineering attack involves an attacker pretending to be someone to gain access. Pretexting? Correct. Pretexting involves an attacker pretending to be someone. Cool. What is the primary purpose of a firewall? I thought we've answered this one, Christopher. Christopher, what is the primary purpose of a firewall? Control network traffic. The company is upgrading its operating system, but certain critical business functions rely on older software. What is a key consideration? Legacy applications. Because business, yep. CA triad, we've answered this one, Christopher. I know we have, because it's confidential. This one. After a network architecture change, what should be updated to reflect the new design? Updating diagrams. Correct. Which of the following best describes the concept of defense in depth? We've definitely answered this one, Christopher. Multiple layers. Continuous request to a server and overwhelming it. Denial service. Primary use of video surveillance to monitor and record activities. Type of attack exploits the trust relationship between a user's browser and a website. Definitely answer this one, Christopher. A malicious actor scans an employee's card and makes a copy. What type of attack is this? Cloning. Correct. During an investigation, it is discovered that unauthorized code was embedded in an application to trigger a specific time. A logic bomb, because it is triggering at a specific time. Correct. Which of the following describes the principle of least privilege? Christopher, we've answered this one. Giving users minimum level. I think this is the third time. Which is the primary goal of an incident response plan? To minimize damage and recover quickly. Yes. What is the purpose of a honeypot? Christopher, I've answered this one already. To lure attackers. During a investigation, it is crucial to maintain the integrity of evidence. Which of the following is the first step? First step is to give the evidence to a manager. Or create a hash of the evidence. Incorrect. Define and identify. So identify. Gotcha. What is the main purpose of the business continuity plan? To ensure continued operations. Yes. Security team ensures that all devices are configured according to the organization's security policies before deployment. What mitigation technique is this? All devices are configured according to the policies. Configuration enforcement group policy. Configuration enforcement. Darn it, Alex. During a forensic investigation, an analyst needs to hide information within an image file to prevent detection. What type of technique is this? And that's steganography. Correct. A small business's financial records were encrypted by attackers who then demanded payment. What was the moat? So that's financial gain. Correct. An employee accidentally clicks on a malicious link in an email, and all their files are encrypted. Ransomware, usually. Yep. What is a honey token? A decoy to detect unauthorized access. Correct. An employee receives an email that appears to be from their CEO asking them to initiate a wire transfer. The email address is slightly altered but seems legitimate at a glance. What type of threat vector does this describe? Receives an email. Phishing. Business email compromise. Because it is from their CEO. Well, the email is slightly altered, so it's not. One of these two. That one probably. Yay. Spoofing email accounts. What is the role of a policy administrator in Zero Trust? To create and enforce policies. Correct. What is the main purpose of a digital certificate in a PKI environment, which is public key infrastructure? And digital certificate is to authenticate. An organization is setting up a secure communication channel between its servers. They need to use a cryptographic solution that involves both a public key and a private key. So that is asymmetric. Correct. During an incident response, it was found that an attacker used stolen credentials to access sensitive information. What security principle was violated? So it's one of these three. Confidentiality. Yep. In Zero Trust, what is the subject in the context of access control? One of these do. That one. Nope. That one. So close. What is the main purpose of a digital signature? Authentication. Nope. Integrity. Integrity. What is the purpose of deception and disruption technology in cybersecurity? Yes. Type of malware disguises itself as legitimate software to trick users in installing it. Trojan? Yeah. But organizations' security logs show multiple failed login attempts from a single IP address, followed by a successful login using stolen creds. The attacker did not demonstrate. The attacker did not demonstrate advanced techniques. What type of threat actor does this describe? Unskilled attacker. Correct. Script kiddie. An organization strengthens its systems by implementing multiple security measures, such as encryption and endpoint protection, hardening techniques. Yep. Company isolates its development environment from its production environment and from internet access in order to prevent accidental data leakage. Segmentation. No. Isolation. Darn it. What is the primary purpose of a firewall? I've answered Christopher. I've answered this one. To monitor temperature. I think this is the third time. No? Enforce access control. I don't believe you. Company's outdated software lacks the necessary patches to protect against known vulnerabilities. vulnerable software. An attacker uses the technique to overwhelm application's memory. Buffer overflow. To manage changes in documentation and ensure consistency, what system should be implemented? Updating policies. New version control. Hello. What is the role of a security guard in physical security? To protect the physical premises. To protect individual devices from the network-based attacks, an organization installs software that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic. It's going to be a host-based firewall. Yep. What type of attack involves an attacker convincing an employee to reveal sensitive information by pretending to be a trusted individual? And personalization. Type of malware designed to monitor users' activities and send the information to a third party. Spying on you. I think I've answered that one, Christopher. In the context of zero trust, what is the role of the control plane? To authenticate users. No. Enforcing access policies. It was this one. Trust your instincts, Alex. A user connects a USB they found in the parking lot, which then installs malware. Removable device. Which of the following types of social engineering attacks involves an attacker pretending to be a trusted individual? Pretexting. I think we've answered that one too. An organization needs to manage and issue digital certificates for secure communications. What infrastructure should they implement? This feels like more than 100 questions. This is a lot of questions. An organization needs to manage. Public key infrastructure. Yes. An attacker has been sending continuous requests to a web server causing it to crash. I think we've answered this one too. An attacker used the tool to capture and analyze network traffic. Sniffing. Ease. Security analyst wants to ensure that a system can recover quickly from hardware failures. Should they be? Redundancy. Yes. Primary goal of risk assessment. Yes. Which type of attack involves overwhelming a system with traffic to make it unavailable to legitimate users? Denial of service. What is the purpose of a honeypot? Christopher, I've answered this one. To lure attackers. After updating an antivirus program on all company computers, what action may be required for the update to fully apply? A restart? Yes. How are pressure sensors used? To detect pressure. Yes. A group of hackers consistently use zero-day exploits and sophisticated phishing techniques to breach high-value targets. What attribute best describes their capability? High sophistication. What is the focus of policy-driven access control in zero trust model? Policy-driven access control. Yes. Company is planning to encrypt all data transmitted over the internet to prevent eavesdropping. Transport encryption. Rigged. First step in incident response is to contain, identify before containing. Okay. Which of the following is considered a preventive control? Preventive. Antivirus software. Yes. An attacker sends an image containing malicious code. What type of threat vector is this image based? What is an access badge used for? To grant physical access. Correct. Organization wants to ensure that a terminated employee no longer has access to any of its codes. Account deactivation. A government agency has detected that its sensitive data was exfiltrated by a highly sophisticated group with significant resources. It's going to be a nation state. That was answered in another question. This was a different question, but that was answered in a different question. Pause. Unpause. Sorry, I had to use the restroom and come back. I didn't know Chris was going to have me here for over an hour. Let's see. Next question. An organization needs to ensure that employees can access sensitive data only from the company's internal. A VPN. No. All right. What did you do to me, Chris? I've been here over an hour. A company's confidential research data was stolen and shared with a competitor, significantly impacting its market position. The attacker claimed the attack was due to the company's presidential campaign donations. What type of motivation does this describe? Because it's presidential campaign donations, it is political beliefs. Correct. What is the primary purpose of a VPN? To encrypt data in transit. Yep. What is the role of ultrasonic sensors in physical security? To detect. Sensors detect motion. Correct. What is an implicit trust zone in traditional network security? Implicit means understood, so all traffic is trusted. Implicit trust. Correct. An organization needs to ensure the integrity and authenticity of its software updates. What cryptographic solutions do they use? Digital signatures, or to ensure integrity and authenticity. What is the main advantage of using a VPN? Christopher. I think I've answered this one. It allows secure remote access. Okay, no, this one was new. JK, sorry. What is the purpose of fencing in physical security? To create a perimeter around a facility. Yes. What is the primary goal of an incident response plan? Christopher. I've answered this one already. A company wants to ensure that data sent between the employees and clients over the internet is encrypted. Which protocol should they use? So it's going to be fire transfer protocol, right? Sent between employees over the internet is encrypted. Secure. This guy right here. Incorrect. Gah. HTTPS. Of course. Thought that was for websites. Company deploys tools to constantly observe network traffic and system activities for unusual behavior. So, observe. It's gonna be this guy. No, monitoring. This guy. Read the answers, please, Alex. What is the role of the data plane in zero trust architecture? To handle data encryption. Right? Nope. Enforcing access control decisions. When decommissioning old servers, a company follows a process to securely remove data and software. What is this process called? Decommissioning old servers, securely remove data. If it's straight up in the question, I'm going to cry. Okay, alright, cool. An organization finds that their systems have been infiltrated by a malicious tool that provides persistent, unauthorized access at root level. It's going to be a rootkit. An attacker is attempting to gain access to a system by trying different combinations of users and passwords. Brute force. A large corporation's website is defaced with political messages criticizing its environmental policies. The attack was performed by a group known for its activism. The type of threat actor is responsible for this attack. Political messages criticizing its environmental policies. Hacktivists. Correct. Which of the following is used for authenticating systems in a network? Digital certificates. Yes. A security admin wants to restrict access to a certain website while allowing others. What technical implementation should they use? The allow deny list. Which of the following best describes, say, a triad? Christopher. I've answered this one already. A company implements a system where only authorized users can access specific resources based on their roles. What type of mitigation technique does this describe? Access control. Yes. What is the role of a policy enforcement point in zero trust? Policy enforcement point. Enforce at resource level. Yep. What is the primary function of a honeypot? If I have to answer another honeypot question, Christopher, I don't know. Does this end? Does this stop? How far does this go? I haven't seen all of the repeated, like, there have been new questions, so it's not all repeat questions. But some of these are starting to repeat. If I get nothing but repeats, I guess that's when then it's over. Honeypot. Oh no, these are different these are different answers because it was to lure attackers before. Now it's to detect unauthorized access. Yes. Okay. Different answer. Same questions. I'll allow it. Yeah, it's not the same experience. I do have to think of a honeypot, and what answers could it be? Honeypots are the intended function is to detect unauthorized access because it's to lure attackers, which was the previous answer to this question. Yep. Which of the following is an example of physical security control? Security guard. Company uses Terraform to automate the deployment of its infrastructure. Which concept does the scenario illustrate? Terraform is containerization or infrastructure as a code. Come on, Alex, you know this. My first instinct is infrastructure as a code. But it could be, no, this is Kubernetes, so yeah, there it is. What type of malware is designed to lock users out of systems until a ransom is paid? A ransomware, of course. An organization needs to ensure that its backup data is protected from unauthorized access. What security measures should they implement? Needs to ensure that its data is protected. Encryption. During security audit, a company decides to change all default passwords on their devices to strengthen security. What technique is this? Default password changes. Different enough. Yeah. A user receives a call from someone claiming to be from IT department asking for their password to perform an urgent update. Which of the following best describes this threat? Claiming to be from their IT department. Impersonation. Yes. An organization wants to establish a foundation of trust for its digital certificates. What component should they use? Root of trust. A foundation of trust. A root of trust. Yes. Which of the following is a characteristic of a ransomware attack? Ransomware attack. Involves encrypting the data and demanding payment. That's ransomware. Which of the following is an example of a deterrent control? Security awareness training. Yep. An organization needs to protect this data in transit. Which of the following protocols should be implemented? Protect data in transit. I want this one so bad. Yes. A major retailer's customer database is breached by a member of their network team who was denied a promotion. What attribute best describes this threat actor? Internal. Correct. What type of malware disguises itself as legitimate software to trick its users into installing it? I believe we've answered this one before, right? Trojan. Which of the following describes the principle of least privilege? Christopher. I have answered this one already. Correct. An attacker has modified the ARP cache of a victim's machine to redirect traffic through the attacker's device. ARP cache to redirect traffic. What type of attack is this? No, yes. An organization is deploying sensors and devices that connect to the internet to collect and exchange data. What is the architecture model called, and what is the primary security concern? I want to say it's this one. They say the S in Internet of Things is for security, right? Yes. A business impact analysis is used to identify impact of disruption of business operations. Which of the following is a preventive control? You prevent by encryption. Yes. What type of authentication factor is based on something you have? I have a smart card. Yes. Which of the following is an example of a detective control? To detect is detection. Yes. Following the implementation of a new security protocol, what documentation should be revised to align with the changes? Implementation of a new security call, updating policies and procedures, updating diagrams. New security protocol, policies and procedures. Yes. Which of the following is a common method for securing data in transit? Securing data in transit would be encryption. Yes. Security team detects multiple failed login attempts followed by a successful one, indicating a potential password attack. What type of attack does this represent? I think I've answered this one. Pretty sure. Brute force. Yep. An organization uses software to detect and prevent malicious activities on individual devices. What is the software called? Uses software to detect and prevent malicious activities. Host intrusion protection software. No. Uses software to detect on individual devices. Sir. All right. I'm putting this in because, right? Am I wrong, guys? It says HIPS monitors and prevents malicious activities on individual devices. Detects and prevents malicious. Yes. That's what I chose, right? Play back the tape. That's what I chose. I'm just gonna I'm gonna snippet this and I'll get back to this later. It's not important. What type of malware is designed to gain administrative control over a computer system without being detected? To gain administrative control is the rootkit. Which of the following describes a brute force attack? Attack tries all possible combinations. You have completed the quiz. Wow. An hour and a half later. Yes. With multiple reused questions. And then one that was messed up. But it was fun. This was great. I had a good time, honestly. It was fun breezing through this. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something. I did get some of them wrong. I scored an 88. I don't know of how many because it wasn't numbered, Christopher. But that was fun. Here, hold on. I am gonna pause this. Okay. I hope you had fun. I had fun. I think I'm gonna end this here. It's been a long time. Thanks for joining me on this ride if you're still here. It wasn't perfect, but it is what it is. See ya.